Hello. So this is our ghost orchid or leafless nodding orchid. A really interesting little terrestrial orchid. So these ones not only don't have any leaves, but they also don't have any chlorophyll. So they completely are reliant upon a fungal association that they have with mycorrhizal fungi. So they're called mycoheterotrophic, which means they feed off the nutrients and water and carbon that a fungal associate provides for them. And this one I accidentally pulled out. It got stood on the other day, and you can see there that's the tuber that it comes from. So that can stay dormant under the ground for a couple of years until the conditions are right, and then it sends up this flower spike, and in about a week it will be pollinated and producing seed, and then the flower spike will die and it'll go back to just being a tuber under the ground. They don't actually have any roots. They just have those fungal associations on the tuber themselves. And yeah, it's really interesting. It kind of blurs the line between what is a plant. And we have some pretty interesting orchids here in Australia. I mean, all around the world, but orchids are very much reliant upon mycorrhizal fungi for germination and to grow. So it makes sense for this type of plant to become one that needs to parasitize a mycorrhizal fungi. But there is also a few species from different genuses other than Orchidaceae, different families that also have this same sort of life history strategy. But yeah, we've got ones in Australia like the Tenophyllums. They actually don't have any leaves and they live up in the trees, and they're just green photosynthetic roots, and they just look like roots on a tree up in the sky, and then they produce a flower. And then we've also got ones like these that are mycoheterotrophic, and they will live their whole lives underground, and they even flower underground, which is just wild. So yeah, super interesting plants. These ones are actually found all around the world, all around the southern hemisphere, I think. And yeah, we're here on the Mary River in between Cubby Cubby and Ginniburra land down at Conondale. And we're just going through this old planting, cleaning up some of the areas to put some infill planting in. And what happened was about 4 years ago, there was a big flood came through, and it started collecting a whole heap of debris from all the trees upstream, came down, and they made these little wooden rafts that got deposited here. And that was only really because 30 years ago they did a revegetation project here, a really early revegetation project, and all these trees were planted about 30 years ago, and they acted like basically a comb or a sieve and collected all this woody debris. And now we've got those trees that were planted 30 years ago by these really progressive landholders of the time. Now we've got things like these little orchids and God only knows what else coming in just because you put the bones of an ecosystem there and it starts to build itself. So yeah, it's a pretty incredible thing and really sort of inspirational for why we do what we do and the importance of what we do. Anyhow, that's enough tooting my own horn. Goodbye.